Effect.
Welcome, fellow Evercadians and retro enthusiasts. This is the Evercade Effect, and I am Retro Q-9, and this is part 2 of the Activision Anthology video. Woo! So first off, just want to say, comment in below. What do y'all think of my Zelda hat?
And the crowd goes wild.
Yay! I saw this at my local retro store. I could not pass this up. I tweeted this out a few days or a week ago, depending on when you're watching this video. So yeah, let me know what you think. I love the Zelda series, so near and dear to my heart. Maybe one day I'll do a dedicated video as to why that is. So for part 2, in a few moments, we're going to change up the YouTube studios. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my top 10 games for the Activision collection. Now, this is only if, let's say, they couldn't get the licenses to this exact GBA port, import it over. I would still like them to go ahead and, hey, do it Evercade style, take the 10 games, just use the traditional Evercade menus. You'll see here when we boot up how it has a really cool built-in menu system. And we come back, I'll give my final thoughts, and I'll talk about that. Also, when we come back, I will say, did I get a response from Aspire? Did I get a response from Activision? And either way, I will read the emails that I went ahead and I sent off. And yeah, it's going to be good. So let's go ahead and flip up the YouTube studios. And one more thing before I mention that. You'll notice that this footage is captured through the GBA player on the GameCube. I don't have that. Fortunately, someone out there was able to record the videos, and they put it up, and they said, yeah, free for anyone to use. So it's like 2.5 hours. So if you want to see each game in depth, I'm going to put a link below in the comments if you want to see where I got this footage from and watch the videos in their entirety. All right, now we'll flip up the YouTube studios and we'll go over the games. Alrighty, and now we're booting up here into the Activision Anthology Collection and Aspire. I do love this theme music and everything when you boot up into it. It has 3 great tracks, and here you get to go in, switch between your collection. We'll get to in a moment. You have all the records, and it keeps patch scores. And I've unlocked a few a little bit that I'll talk about when I get to those games. And it keeps your last score, which is fantastic, because the Evercade right now doesn't do that. Unless you do save states, here's all the brightness, volume, sound effects. You can erase the save data, and I did that the first time, so I could earn them patches. And for the Evercade, again, you would need to adjust the brightness of the GBA. You need it, but leaving it in won't hurt anything. So here's just the full list of the games. And look how it stores the collection. I mean, this is really, really cool. Like, it gives you the impression that, hey, I own all these games. I have them here. So briefly, we're just going to go through and show you the full list of the games. I'm going to talk about my 10 favorite games in alphabetical order, really isn't a particular order. But if we could only just have 10 games for an Activision collection, let's say if this wasn't a GBA port, and we're just going to run directly off of like the Atari 2600 emulator, this is what I would go ahead and pick. Yeah, and these prototypes really aren't that good. I'll just go ahead and say that. Alright, so starting with Beam Rider. So, Tim from Tim's Tiny Arcade brought this game to my attention. This has a very, very awesome arcade feel. I love this. Didn't play this growing up, which is fine. Playing it here now as an adult. So, in the upper left-hand corner, that number 15, that's how many of these little things you have to kill. Once you kill all 15 of them, then you go ahead and fight the boss. You'll see that I'm blocking those 3 purple things. Those are your super shots. You press the up arrow. I love how they made great use of extra buttons since Atari only had one. And when you shoot that shot, you can kill the boss and get extra points. And then much alike a lot of these games, at the levels, they keep adding in new elements, making it challenging. This is just so much of a fun shooter. I love this game. I can get into this game. This is currently when I pop in this cart and I play this game. I want to see this on the VS, on the big screen. Oh, that would be so totally cool. You can take it with you on the handheld. Now we've got Climber. And you notice at the beginning of these games there's instructions, one that is missing from Evercade. Hopefully the VS will bring that home. And so here you just climb up, have to dodge the wall, those pink things that are closing in, and you just, keep doing it. Gotta get all the way up to the top left, and then you're good. Well, one problem with this game, at least in the GBA, is once you get past like level 3, the colors change, and you get this weird vomit kind of color scheme going on, and it makes it very, very difficult to see. But on a big clear screen or on the handheld, this would not be a problem. This would not be a problem at all. So I really would love to play this on the big screen. And I don't know why he just didn't go left there and grab it. Oh, nope, took too long. But yeah, this game, very awesome arcade feel. I love going in and playing this. Very challenging, repetitive, but not too repetitive. I mean, again, these games are repetitive enough to be friendly, but not too repetitive to where they're boring. Oh, fishing derby. So on these games, I'm very selective because, I guess you could call this a sports game, but fishing derby is a little bit different. I don't really get those kind of vibes. And if you do like sports games, that's fine. You know me, they have to have some gimmick, be really arcade. This is chill. So here, playing against the computer, you got to catch your fish, you get a score. You don't want that shark to get it. And this would be awesome on the VS, playing against a buddy or online multiplayer. Yeah, I think we really need this. It's just kind of a pop-in, chill, have a couple of beers, sit back, and just have a lot of fun. You know, this is just a really great game. So yeah, this is why this goes on one of my top games, because hey, you gotta have some chill games that all can't be like zoom, 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 zoom. Even though I do love high-paced action games, you gotta have some chill games. I'm not really sure if this game ends, but you know, it's just fun. Or would be fun playing against a buddy. Frostbite! So this game here reminds me of Frogger on crack. And again, you have the instructions. I think the VS hopefully have the manuals built in. So here, you gotta jump down on the icebergs. They turn blue. And the goal is every time you do that, it builds your igloo. Once you get the igloo built with the door, you escape to the next level. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner is the degrees. Right now it's at 40. If that reaches down to 0, you die. So it's very challenging. If anything, this reminds me more of Reverse Frogger. It's really cool. Very much an arcade feel. And yeah, every level they add in a new element. When you get to level 3 or 4, there's a bear that can get you up there. And that's a bear up there, which makes it really tough. And then this next level, it's neat, because now they'll change them up. So now you have the bigger icebergs, you have the little icebergs, you can get the fish, you can eat the fish, like it's the raw fish, and it adds to your score. So this game is just so much fun. And to be able to bounce around these games, it's great. Hero! Oh, I would have loved to have been aware of this game back in the day. This, back in the day, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought this could have been on the Nintendo. The graphics and the way it is that good. So what you have to do is go through, drop your bombs, you have to rescue the guy at the end, and you have limited bombs, limited power. If you run out of bombs, you could totally screw yourself and have to start over if you can't get through these certain barriers. And you can press up to go ahead and have your little jetpack helicopter thingy make you fly, and then down drops a bomb. Button makes you shoot. Great use of the extra buttons. And what's neat is it's not randomized, so you really get to learn the levels. And later on, as it gets more and more difficult, they have blocks that if you touch, you die. You can't bomb the big blocks. So yeah, lots of strategy involved. You can blow yourself up, which is great and frustrating, but you really get to learn the levels. I've got to level 8, and it gets insane. I've not earned the badge for this game. I need to look into that. Kaboom! So this game was initially designed to be able to use like a paddle or dial. On the VS, this would be awesome to use some type of paddle or dial or trackball. And it's simple. You've got the buckets, you collect the bombs, you don't let them go kaboom! And you keep doing it. If you miss one, you lose a bucket, making that much harder. Now, on the GBA, this game is really dark and it's difficult to see. On the Evercade LCD or the VS, that wouldn't be a problem. So yeah, I want to have this game, be able to see it properly. With that said, if you do a search for Kaboom in the Android Google Play Store, somebody made a really cool free port that doesn't have ads. It's neat using the touchscreen. So yeah, there's that. But I really like this game. It's just so much fun and very super challenging. And when you get down to one bucket, it gets you. But I would just love to be able to play this with a controller in the way that it was meant to be played. But still, it's not too bad. Mega Mania! So this game I didn't actually know about, really played on the collection until Tim from Tim's Tiny Arcade did a great video where he talked about Activision games that could have been in the arcade, and he played it on his at-home games. This game is really neat. It reminds me of, like, if you take your Space Invaders and Galaxian and all those shooters, kind of mix them up. It's just neat. Again, you've got energy, so you can't just fire your shots off willy-nilly or you lose your energy, you die. And that's not really good. So now you'll see on this next level how they move in a pattern. Again, you can learn the patterns like a lot of these games. It's just a lot of fun. This one I found to be really addicting because you learn the patterns, you get that much farther, you want to try it again. It's just, it's great. It's a crazy game. I would love to be able to play this on the VS with a full screen, you know, a joystick or a gamepad. I'm good with. But I just feel like a lot of people, especially those outside of North America, need to be made aware of these games. Need to have easy access to play these games. Pitfall! And I could have lumped in Pitfall 2 with this, but growing up, Pitfall was nostalgic. Pitfall 2 is neat. There's I believe, a chip in the cart, so there's music. That's what gives you music in the background. This was great at the time. One of the first games, maybe the first game I had played, where actually resemble a figure. It's just so great. And I did unlock the Explorer's badge on here. I think that's like 10,000, 10,000 score. But yeah, who doesn't love Pitfall? So much fun. Not gonna lie, some of these games I do like being able to use a D-pad versus a joystick, but on the VS, maybe using a better quality arcade stick as opposed to, you know, the 2600 one. Yes, I just said that. Would be better. I know I've kind of mixed feelings about that. Ooh, those alligators. But yeah, this game is so much fun. Who hasn't played Pitfall? If you haven't, play it some way. It's such a classic. It's, you know, still holds the test of time. And it just, you know, changes things up. You got many obstacles to jump over. I really love this game. River Raid! So I didn't know, I think when I was younger, played this one too. This was an Activision game, well that says there, but I mean I didn't care about that at the time, but this shooter is great, probably one of the first shooters that I played. It's simple, only fly over the river, hence River Raid. You've got to get the fuel, you know, you don't want to run out of gas or you lose a life. So there's a lot going on, how the scrolling is involved. If you shoot too much fuel, then you're not going to be able to get it. You know, I love games like this that are simple, but yet a lot of elements, very challenging. And as you progress in the levels, new things get added in. This I want to play on the VS, on the big screen. I know I say that a lot, but that would just be so super neat. This is a great shooter. I think it still holds up till today. I like it better than River Raid 2. If you like River Raid 2, just like Pitfall 2 more, that's fine. But for me, this is just a classic again. It stands the test of time. When you have to shoot the bridges, or you can get stuck. Oh, last game, Sequest! So, I did play this, like Pitfall, like River Raid growing up. Gotta check out Rich's The Old Man in Sequest video. I also earned my badge! Getting the sub club, getting 50,000 points in this game. You know, not back in the day. But you gotta collect the mermaids, you gotta dodge the fish, all these things coming at you, other submarines shooting at you. You gotta go up for air. Like a lot of these games, you know, the levels, things get faster, harder. There's other elements, like there's a bad sub up there that'll get you. This game is one of those ones where it's very simple, but there's so much depth to it. Pun depth to sub game. Anyways, I love this. This is just so much fun. This is unique. I haven't seen this on anything else. Again, I want to play this on the big screen. But this is just one of my favorite games. And so yeah, these are my 10 games that I would pick if we could only get 10 games from this collection. This would be it. We're going to change up the YouTube studios and flip back. And we are back. Yeah. So, as you all noticed, when you boot up the game, it has its own menus. You can go to the scores, you can launch any game. You can also launch a random game, I forgot to mention, which is really cool. A feature that's massively lacking on the Evercade. I'm hoping that maybe in the major firmware update they add that, because yeah, sometimes you don't know what game you want to play, and you just want to jump in and play it. So, what they could go ahead and do, assuming that Blaze Entertainment has got the licenses, they could port over the GBA ROM just as it is, and when you boot it up, it wouldn't load into the traditional Evercade menu where you scroll through all your games with the screenshots. No, it would boot up directly to this ROM, and I think it would be really cool if they use that interface. Because quite frankly, I think that interface is neat. It really makes you believe you have the collection.
Yeah, I know.
As you saw when you go through and you can select your games. And keep in mind, before every game starts, I think it's really cool how it shows that CRT, and then you go in, and then you gotta press the buttons to load the game, just like you did back in the day. So yeah, all Blaze would have to do, which is the most difficult part, get the licenses, port it over. We have a GB emulator. The great thing is, not much testing, not much work needing to be done. Boom, you have it. If they couldn't, I would still be very happy with just those 10 games I had mentioned. They could only port those over in the traditional Evercade menu style. I think that would really be fantastic. So I do appreciate everyone sticking with me this far in the video. And now I would like to go ahead and read to you the emails, and if I got the responses back, I'd like to go ahead and share that with you now. Okay, so the first email that I sent to was Aspire, right? They are the devs on the game. And so yeah, I bet licensing question, do you own the rights to the Activision Collection for Game Boy Advance? Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and read it here. Team Aspire, I am a huge fan of the Activision Atari games and love the Activision Anthology for the Game Boy Advance. According to Wikipedia URL there, you are listed as the developers. My question is, do you own the rights to the Activision Collection as a developer, or does Activision, since they are the publisher? I'm asking because if you do own the rights, you have a huge opportunity to have the collection ported over to the Evercade retro console. If you are unfamiliar with this wonderful retro gaming device, please check out, and there's the URL for Evercade's website. I am contacting you because I am a content creator. I misspelled that. And you have a YouTube channel dedicated to Evercade, and I am a huge retro enthusiast. My channel can be found. There's my channel address. The Evercade can emulate GBA perfectly, and the Activision Anthology would look beautiful on a newer portable LCD and a TV when the home console releases in November as compared to the GBA screen. If this is something you're interested in and own the rights, you should speak with Blaze Entertainment and see if you can work something out. If I can assist in any ways, please let me know. Woo! So, yeah, so I got my reading glasses on and I still derped it. But anyways, so I went ahead and I sent that email, and of course, got no response. No surprise here. So, let me go ahead and I'll bring up the other email to Activision. It's basically the same thing. Let me just show you here real quick. Shaboom! So, you can see it's basically the same thing. I just flopped around the words. Developer and publisher. Yeah, so that's all. You know, I didn't get a response from them. What a surprise. And you'll notice that I sent this a day later, and this was sent 13 days ago. So yeah, they didn't respond to me, but at least I tried, everyone. I was curious just to see if either one of them would go ahead and respond back. And of course they didn't. So, let's go ahead and change up the YouTube studios one more time! And we will have our final thoughts. And we are back. So, you've heard the journey in the first video, or if you haven't, I'll put a link down below, maybe throw a card up so you can watch that. If you haven't, you're just seeing this video, you need to do that, or this may not make much sense. And yeah, I wanted to share my personal experiences and a journey through nostalgia and how I came to this, and I think this would be great to have any of these games, the whole collection, a fraction of the collection. This is my take. It's a little bit different. Yeah, maybe people have talked about wanting the Activision collection, but now I found an easy way to put it over, assuming that we get the rights. And just like the Intellivision collection is going to kill it, this would also be a license to print money. I know Blaze would love to have this collection. But yeah, please comment below. I'd like to know, what do you think of this? Do you think this would be great? Are you a fan of the old school or Atari games? Or are they not as nostalgic from you? Or are you not a fan and you're going to go ahead and take a chance on them and play them? I'd really like to know. Let's get a conversation going. I would love your feedback. And yeah, please go ahead and follow me on all my social medias and subscribe. You're not going to want to miss any updates such as this. So yeah, and well, I created content. Bye-bye!